Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Norma Obona. I am a legal practitioner based and practicing in Lagos State, Nigeria. And on this channel, we talk about everything that relates to corporate governance and compliance issues as they affect companies in Nigeria. Today, we are going to be talking about the Copyright Act 2022. Yes, you heard me right. So, on the 17th day of March 2023, the Copyright Bill was signed into law by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So right now, Nigeria has its Copyright Act 2022. Everybody in the IP space has been anticipating this, and finally here we have it. So basically, the Copyright Act is aimed at providing regulation, protection, and administration of copyright and copyright works. So basically, this new act repealed the Act of 2004, and that 2004 Act, most of its content was retained in this new act, albeit that new provisions was made to align the Nigerian copyright law with what is obtainable globally to protect things like online materials, online works, digital works that are being put out by very innovative creators and creatives. So today, this video, what it will just do is to briskly highlight some of the new provisions or amendments that were made or introduced by this new act. So we'll just dive straight into it. The first one is that the act now makes express and definite protection of online content. So before now, the Copyright Act did not recognize digital content, but by this 2022 Act, digital content are protected, and in fact the word copy, the definition of the word copy includes digital copies. Also, the word cinematographic has been changed and replaced with the word audiovisual. Also, the act provides that exclusive right of making their work available to the public via wire and wireless means is solely that of the author of a copyright work. So the author of a copyright work has the exclusive rights to publish its work through wireless or online means. Then another aspect that was addressed by this new law is the tenure of and alienability of moral rights. Before now, moral rights were not unalienable, but this act has provided that upon that these moral rights cannot be transferred in two instances. One, upon the death of a copyright, the owner of a work, the moral rights can be transferred by his will, or such moral rights can also be transferred by the operation of law. Also, this new act makes special provisions for persons living in disabilities, to the extent that it also provides that a person who has been authorized can make copies for use by persons living with disabilities, basically copies that are usable and accessible by persons living with disabilities, even where the owner of such work does not consent to the making of that work. Yes. So another aspect also that was introduced by this new law is with regards to fair dealing as a defense. So this new law now makes provision for certain factors that must be shown in relying on fair dealing as a defense, and some of these factors would include purpose of usage, amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the work as a whole, and the effect of the use upon the potential work or value of the work. So that's on fair dealing. Then also it spoke to rights over commissioned work and provides that the person who commissioned a work, a copyright work, is a person that has the right over such work, or that has copyright over such work. Then also a provision was also made in this new law for ownership of copyright in collective works. In that instance, it has provided that with regards to a collective work, ownership vests on or copyright ownership vests on the person whose initiative the work was. But for the contributors to such work, they can claim copyright to the aspects of the work that represent their contribution in the work. Then also, the new act makes provision for performance rights. It's basically makes provision for the remuneration of performance of a work, and that where a person puts up a work for performance, whatever the person receives as payment, performance of that work are entitled to a bit of that payment that is received by the organizer. Then the act also protects folklore, in that it has provided that a person cannot appropriate folklore for commercial use except such a person gets the permission of the Nigerian Copyright Commission. Also, the act also makes provision for more acts that would constitute infringement, one of which is that where a person publishes another's work, via wireless or online means without the permission of the owner, that a person would be held to be an infringement. Also, where a person refuses to pay upon demand any royalty by virtue of a right of remuneration or agreement, such an act also amounts to an infringement under the act. And also where a person aids or procures another to commit an act that amounts to infringement under the act, the person, the procurer or the aider, would also be held to also be in infringement under the act. Also, the act also provides that where a person circumvents any system that is put in place to limit access or to control access to a work, where a person circumvents that and gains access to, where a person circumvents any such system that prevents access to a copyright work, the person that is circumventing would also be held to be in breach of the law and would be liable to any penalties as may be imposed in that regard. So basically, these are the basic highlights of what this new law says, and I hope that production houses, basically any company that is into production of copyright works, would take note of what this new law is, that all the employees within such a system are sensitized, everybody involved, the performers, the artists, and anybody really that is a stakeholder in one way or the other in the company is made aware of what this new provision is, and that subsequently the board would also be enlightened as to what the provision of this new law is, in the bid to ensure that the board sets the relevant strategy and the tone to ensuring that all such companies operate in compliance with the provisions of this new law. Thank you very much for sticking with us till this point. If you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, please kindly do so. Comment, like, and share our videos to anybody who you know that it would be relevant to, and I would see you in my next video. Thank you.